All right, I want you to, just for a second, picture your ideal travel experience.
Okay.
You know, the one they sell you in the glossy brochures.
The high-speed train, maybe through the Swiss Alps. Silent, efficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ruthlessly efficient. The temperature's a perfect 21 degrees. You've got a chilled glass of wine, a book, and you're not spilling a drop. It's frictionless.
That sounds absolutely lovely. It really does. But, it's also a bit of a bubble, isn't it?
A bubble.
Yeah. It's travel as a sterile product. You're moving through a country, but you're not really in it. You're just in this hermetically sealed tube.
Exactly. And that is definitely not where we are going today.
I have a feeling it's not.
For this deep dive, we are unpacking a travelogue by Val Poore that takes that frictionless ideal, throws it on the tracks, and runs it over with a rusty, screeching diesel engine. We're going to Romania.
Specifically, a train journey from Cluj-Napoca to Timisoara. And the thesis here is just fascinating. It kind of challenges everything we think we want from travel.
The idea is that the very things we try to avoid, the delays, the grime, the sweating, the discomfort,
All the bad stuff.
all the bad stuff, might actually be the only way to spark, authentic human connection. Val calls this journey one of her peak life experiences.
Which is a bold claim, considering the conditions.
Let's set the scene. Val and her partner, Kus, are in Cluj-Napoca. It is the height of summer.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's 37 degrees Celsius.
That's 98 Fahrenheit in the shade.
In the shade. And the context is so important here because they live in the Netherlands.
Right. And Dutch trains are clockwork?
Absolutely. If a train is 3 minutes late there, people start looking at their watches. It's the baseline expectation.
So you take that mindset, that need for precision, and you drop it onto this scorching platform in Cluj.
Val paints this picture of just collective exhaustion.
Right.
People are sitting on the dirty paving stones, fanning themselves with timetables, magazines, anything.
Just trying to move the air.
And they're doing the math, which you should never do in these situations. It's about 330 kilometers to Timisoara.
In the Netherlands, that's what? Under 3 hours?
Easy. But the Romanian schedule says 4 hours. And they think, okay, 4 hours, we can do that.
But then 3:45 p.m. comes and goes.
Nothing.
Just heat radiating off the tracks.
Finally, 30 minutes late, this train crawls into the station. And this is the first real shock. They're expecting an inner-city service.
So modern, sleek, fast.
And instead, Val says it looks like it was dragged out of the back of a dusty and dirty museum.
A museum piece. That's harsh.
But it's so evocative. A diesel engine that has seen better decades, carriages covered in grime. It just looks tired.
And when they get to their compartment, the sensory details are just, visceral.
Oh, it's intense. She says the interior reminds her of her childhood. Shabby plush seats, probably smelling of dust.
And the windows.
The windows are the real villain of the first act, right?
Totally. They're grimed over with condensation trapped between the panes.
So you can't even see out properly. It's like looking through dirty soup. And of course, she tries to open the little top window. Jammed. Painted shut. It will not budge.
So they are sitting in a greenhouse on wheels.
A greenhouse that is now leaving the station 45 minutes late.
Kus, ever the optimist, he points out that the train has already come 500 kilometers from Iasi through the mountains.
He's trying to cut the old machine some slack.
But now they're moving, and I use that term loosely. They are crawling, and the temperature inside that compartment just keeps rising.
Val thinks it gets over 40 degrees Celsius. That's 104 Fahrenheit.
Inside a metal box.
She describes the air as close and fetid. Her dress is sticking to her. They're just pouring with sweat. It sounds utterly miserable.
It is. It's an endurance test. But here's where it gets interesting. On that perfect, cool, fast train, everyone stays in their seat.
Headphones on, laptop open. You isolate yourself. Comfort breeds isolation.
But misery.
Misery demands company.
Exactly. The heat forces them to move. They literally have to leave a compartment to breathe, taking turns standing by an open window in the corridor.
Just picture that rotation of strangers, shuffling past each other just to get a gulp of fresh air. And that desperation leads to the turning point.
The illicit fresh air incident.
I love this scene. The heat is it's beyond unbearable. And this young student decides he's had enough.
He gets up, walks to the external carriage door, the heavy steel one,
while the train is moving,
and wrenches it open.
Now we have to pause. In Germany or the UK, you do that. Alarms go off, emergency brakes. You might get arrested.
Oh, for sure. But here, it's a survival mechanism. He just wants to smoke a cigarette and feel the wind.
And Val, who's a non-smoker, a law-abiding tourist. She sees this open door.
And she doesn't scold him. She doesn't find a conductor.
She and Kus join him.
Of course they do. They're just drawn to the air.
And this is where the barrier just shatters.
Yeah.
You have this little group of strangers huddled around an open door on a moving train. It bonds you instantly.
You can't not talk in that situation. They ask where Val and Kus are from. They say the Netherlands.
And one of the guys just winks and says, I expect they don't allow this on the trains there.
It's this great moment of self-aware cultural comparison. Another guy who's been to Amsterdam says, fast and clean, not like this.
But Val flips it. And I think she really means it. She says, yes, Dutch trains are efficient, but this train is ramshackle and unorthodox, but somehow more charming.
Which is an amazing thing to say when you are literally inhaling diesel fumes and sweat. She's reacting to the humanity of it.
And then the ultimate test. The authority figure shows up.
The female conductor.
The group tries to look innocent, like they're not holding the side of the train open.
And what does she do? She looks at the sweating faces. She looks at the open door banging against its frame.
She doesn't write a ticket. She doesn't yell.
She just smiles and says,
No comment.
no comment. It's brilliant.
It's this total triumph of common sense over bureaucracy.
She knows it's too hot to enforce the rules. So the door stays open.
And that shared rebellion changes everything. They go back to the compartment, and it's not a room of strangers anymore. It's a club.
And the club immediately faces a crisis. Val is out of water.
A rookie mistake in that heat. That's actually dangerous.
It is. She gestures to Kus, probably panicking a little, and before Kus can even react, the Romanian girl sitting next to her just offers her own bottle.
Have some of mine. Here, I've got plenty.
See, that's the shared suffering thesis right there. On the perfect Swiss train, you don't ask your neighbor for water.
No, that would be an imposition. You go to the dining car and you buy a bottle of Avian. You solve your own problem.
Exactly. Efficiency makes us independent, but that isolates us. Here, the lack of infrastructure creates vulnerability, and that's the doorway to connection.
So Val accepts the water, and the conversation just takes off.
They find out who they're with. 4 students, 2 workers, and they get right into it, talking about Romania's future in Europe.
It's a real conversation. The locals are optimistic, but they're also realistic. They know they have a long way to go to catch up to Western living standards.
Val calls it being united in endurance. The heat is the great equalizer.
That cohesion carries them to Arad, which is a big junction. The old diesel engine comes off.
And they switch to an electric one for the final leg.
And while they're stopped, Val is looking out at the stations. She says they look like private homes.
With short wooden plank platforms.
Yeah.
And you have these station masters standing at attention like soldiers on parade.
There's this incredible pride and formality right next to crumbling infrastructure. It's such a touching detail.
She also notices there's zero official help for elderly people. The platforms are low, the trains are high.
But the community fills the gap. She sees young people just jumping down to help older folks, lifting them, guiding them. People help each other because the system doesn't.
So at Arad, the water girl has to leave.
And she insists, Val, keep the water bottle. You'll need it.
I love that. Handshakes all around. Val says she is just beaming. But 2 students are staying on.
Yes, 2 from the university in Timisoara. One of them looks like a tennis player, but is studying psychology.
And this is where the conversation goes from social commentary to, well, deep philosophy.
It's the kind of thing you only talk about when you've been stuck in a hot box with someone for 5 hours and you're past all the small talk.
The student poses a hypothetical question to the group.
Okay.
He asks, if you could have a choice between living inside someone's head for a day or flying for 5 minutes a day, which would you choose?
Whoa. Okay. That's a great question.
It is, isn't it? What's your gut reaction?
I think I'd take the flying. 5 minutes a day. I could skip traffic, see the world. Being in someone else's head sounds loud and messy.
See, I think I'd go the other way. The empathy you'd gain from that. To really understand someone, that seems more powerful.
That is deep. Look what we're doing. We're engaging with it. And that's what happened on the train. They weren't checking their phones. They were debating, laughing.
They moved way past tourist versus local. But all journeys have to end. They finally roll into Timisoara.
And it is late. 10:30 p.m. The trip took 6 hours.
2.5 hours late, and it's still 30 degrees and humid.
And of course, the trams have stopped running. The infrastructure fails them one last time.
So they're stranded.
Well, they would be. But their new friends, the students, they don't just wave goodbye.
No, they guide them. They take them to a specific taxi rank away from the main entrance.
The local knowledge coming in clutch.
They warn them, if you catch one outside the station, it will cost twice as much. They make sure they're safe in a cab before they disappear into the gloom.
And that leads to Val's final reflection. She's standing there, exhausted, sticky, probably smells of diesel.
And she turns to Koos and says, "What a simply amazing trip."
And he agrees. Truly memorable. She admits the physical discomfort was criminal, but she says it directly contributed to the emotional satisfaction.
One of her peak life experiences. And that's the core insight. She realizes if they had been cocooned in an air-conditioned car, none of it would have happened.
That air-conditioned cocoon. It's such a perfect image for modern travel. We pay to be insulated from the reality of a place.
We prioritize consistency over connection. But Val argues that this kind of ramshackle travel is a unifier.
United in suffering.
Exactly. It flattens the hierarchy. It doesn't matter if you're a Dutch tourist or a Romanian student.
Yeah.
In that heat, on that broken down train, you are all in the same boat. You share water, you share air, you share stories.
It really makes you think about how we optimize for friction-free experiences in our lives.
We do, and there's a place for that.
Yeah.
But for travel, for discovery, Val is making the case that efficiency can actually be an obstacle.
Because if the train had been on time,
They'd have read their books for 3 hours, arrived, gone to the hotel, end of story.
they never would have met anyone.
They would have seen the scenery, maybe, but they wouldn't have met Romania. The inefficiency created the space for humanity to happen.
It's a powerful reminder. Next time my flight is delayed, I'm going to try to channel my inner Val Poore.
Look around. See who else is suffering with you. That's your common ground. Maybe ask them if they'd rather fly or read minds.
I might just do that. It's a much better story than just fuming at the departure board.
Absolutely.
So here's our challenge to you listening right now. Think back on your own travels. When was the last time a disaster, a delay, a breakdown, a wrong turn led to a story or connection you wouldn't trade for anything?
And maybe next time things go wrong, you can smile and think, this is going to be a peak life experience.
Or at the very least, just smile and say no comment. Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you on the next journey.
Safe travels.